Hey guys, what's up? How y'all doing? I'm here to talk to you guys about the episodes of the 7 Deadly Sins, the 4 Nights of the Apocalypse on episodes 15 to 18, or Nanatsu no Taizai, Mokushiroku no Yonkishi on episodes 15 to 18. I know I have been lazy on this part because, it's just a lot of episodes to cover and a lot to say. Not to mention, Season 2 is coming up soon, and from what I heard, I think it's supposed to be released the same time. Maybe Netflix might release it, but who knows? Maybe that's not the case because Netflix has its own ways of doing things, but whatever the situation is, yada, 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 who cares, So if anything else, let's get this started right away. We have to it, that the episode opens up with Percival and his allies are walking and trying to get to Leonis, Unfortunately, An, who is still depressed about what happened to Ard, because what his motivation, why he did the things he did, but Sin snaps her out of it after destroying the staff of his, And eventually, they all had to go into a certain forest to lure out the four talismans group because they're going after them and they're trying to kill them. You get the idea. Whatever the situation is, or the dark talismans or something like that. Well, I call them the four talismans because one, there's only 4 left and they're dark and so forth. Whatever the situation is, they end up going to an entangled forest whatsoever, and they end up having to lure the dark talismans there, and they make them split up. They managed to take down one of the dark talismans whatsoever. However, they actually had a hard time because and they only managed to take him down because of Sin's help, and I mean the fox Sin, the Sin that's the fox, you get the idea. If you watch the anime or read the manga, you'll know who Sin is. Anyways, continuing on. This guy's magic, one of the dark talisman knights. His ability is called weather or weaken. If I have to say it, I mean it weakens the person in terms of physical and other objects, and that's what just happened. They almost got defeated, but with the help of Sin and everyone else's abilities, they managed to take down one. However, with Percival trying to run away on time, but they get interrupted by 2 more of the Dark Talismans Knight. One of them is a staff user, and the other one is a freaking axe user. We have to it that Anglaha would take on the staff user, which is a woman Dark Talisman, while Donnie takes on a giant hulking man, which apparently calls himself the Invincible, which I go oh, just shut up, dude. Can you not embarrass yourself with that title? Other than that, they actually had a hard time, Donnie and Anglaha taking them on, but although with the help of Sin's advice again, we have to it Anglahan manages to defeat the girl, disarm her, and even though she had her magic ability of Mirage, we have to it Anglahan can actually tell who's real and who's not, and who's telling the truth and who's not, And she ends up easily defeating her by stabbing her right on the right breast. So, yeah. As for Donnie, he apparently is struggling to understand his magic, but with the help of Sin, he manages to understand what it is capable of, and it's telekinesis, that kind of thing. So I go, oh, that's pretty awesome, pretty cool. Now, you be asking me and wondering why didn't I include Percival in this fight, including Nasians, Because they are exhausted and tired. Nasians decide to try out some kind of poison from a horn of Cyranos or whatsoever, or from a horn creature. It helped them out to take down that first Dark Talisman Knight that they fought, but it exhausted him. As for Percival, he recklessly was using his magic too much to a point that, he is just tired, And, the ending of the episode ends off with, Donnie using his telekinesis power and launching the guy out pretty crazy all over the place, Yeah, that's about it. However, the real challenge was the leader of, the Dark Talisman Knights, Which, I don't remember his name, but all I know is, he's a super fast individual, which he's given the title Thunderclap, But with the help of Sin, Percival managed to evade, getting killed, While we get to see some bad despair happening here and there because the first knight they defeated ends up surviving, Well, the reason why he survived is because Percival refused to kill him, Which is kind of much of a bad trait, by the way, but that's just Percival. I can understand why a lot of people really hate him, And I don't blame you for that. But as the episode continues on, while the Dark Talisman Knights look like they got injured whatsoever, thanks to their leader of the Dark Talisman Knights, he ends up using an incantation orb to heal them all, you know? But Percival refuses to give up, while the other group refuses to give up as well. But we also see to it eventually that Sin was giving them advice on how to fight, you know? But we have to it that one of the leaders of the Dark Talisman Knights, or something like that, realizes that Sin is actually the brain or head of the group and knows that he needs to be taken care of, because this guy seems to know a lot of information, not to mention he knows the Dark Talisman's abilities and so forth, you know? And we have to it that the Dark Talisman Knight whatsoever leader ends up giving Sin an offer like give us information and I'll make your death painless and no more suffering, you know? Etc. And the guy was a cruel piece of work, you know? I mean, he's the leader of the Dark Talisman and he's an idiot, you know? But here's what's going to happen next, you know? This is where I'm talking about, like, episode 16. I apologize, you know? So, going back to where I'm going off from, the Dark Talisman surround Sin, use Perfect Cube so that his allies won't be able to interfere whatsoever. And we see to it that this guy is trying to, like, interrogate him and then kill him afterwards. Sin tries to give him an offer, if I give you information and let the guys go, will you do that? The guy says, nope, that's not happening, you know, etc. While Percival and the others are trying to help out, they can't break through Perfect Cube. And we all know what Perfect Cube is. If you don't know it, well, I guess you never read the series and Nanatsu no Taizai from the very beginning. Other than that, continuing on, we have to it that that the guy, again, gives Sin a proposition, and Sin just tells him off, telling him, stop drowning in your own equal, you idiot. And one of the Dark Talisman Knights ends up being arrogant, telling his leader to kill him the most brutal way possible, and so forth. But unfortunately for them, Sin is not just some kind of fox you should be messing with. And this is where the crazy part comes in. I remember when I read this in the manga, it was just awesome, dude. And the way how they animated it in this scene was also pretty well done, too. Other than that, Sin reveals his true identity, but not before he kills 3 of the Dark Talisman Knights, like no problem. Sin literally shot many arrows at 2 of the Dark Talisman Knights and then ends up killing the 3rd one, who is the giant hulking guy, with just two hits. And then later on he reveals himself to be Lancelot, you know? And as for Haste, the guy, well, I'm going to call him Haste anyway, because that's what his ability is. The captain of the Dark Talisman Knights whatsoever, which is the strongest one of the group, you know? He apparently tries to fight Lancelot with his ability and physical capabilities, but stood no chance against him at all, and realizes how dangerous it is and tries to run, but Lancelot kills him by using Donnie's Knight of using Shining Road whatsoever, you know? He therefore reminds him after he died, no one ever told the tale when they fought me. I could tell you that right now. So, yeah, pretty crazy stuff here and there, right? Yeah, whatsoever. Whatever the case may be, Lancelot pretty much demolished the rest of the Dark Talisman Knights that tried to fight him in the Perfect Cube shield whatsoever. Arthur was actually shocked about the situation and asked Merlin for some advice, and Merlin can only give him advice like, do what you think is best, okay? That's all I can really tell you. We have to it that the group is actually suspicious of Lancelot because he brutally murdered the Dark Talisman Knights at no problem. With the exception of Percival. Percival cried tremendously, hugged him, saying, thank goodness you're okay, you know, blah, 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 crying tremendously. Eventually, they get interrupted by one of the knights of King Arthur himself, of Camelot, and it's Pelegard. But Lancelot ends up using one of the orbs to teleport to Leonis and got them to Leonis right on time, you know? So yeah, pretty much that's it for episode 16. Now we're gonna get to episode 17, you know? And this is where some crazy cool stuff happens here and there, and I'm really excited about it, you know? We have to it that Percival and his friends finally arrived at Leonis, and of course, like, they were about to meet the king whatsoever, but he's not out there. As for Percival, he's running out to go explore the entire kingdom, since he's like, he's a country bumpkin, you know? You get the idea, whatsoever. Etc. Yada, yada, yada. Other than that, Percival will later on meet Meliodas at the Boar's Hat. And we all know Meliodas. We all know him. I mean, if you read the manga or watched the anime, you know who Meliodas is. They end up talking with each other about the situation and so forth. Percival has a lot of questions here and there, but unfortunately will have them answered later, you know, by Meliodas himself. Whatever the case is, once everyone arrives and shows up together, you know, etc. We have to it. Percival goes off again, finding some shiny stars whatsoever, and unfortunately for him, he runs into a girl underneath her skirt, which apparently is one of the Holy Knights of Leona's kingdom, and she ends up chasing him, trying to attack him. As for two other allies of hers, which is Kion and Jade, they think that he's an enemy, or Kion says that whatsoever, which is kind of very much annoying and ticking me off, because I know this guy too well, what he does. And we have to it that Percival got into a scuffle with them now and he is in trouble. We have to it that that the allies of we have to it that Nasians, Anglahad, and Donnie shows up to try to help Percival out, but they easily knock him out, thinking that it's the Chaos Knights. They think Percival and his friends are enemies, you know, which is also freaking annoying. But this actually becomes a very bad backwater drop because of what happened. And later on, we get to see a strange white-haired prince show up. Prince shows up at the end. Now, you guys might be saying, why say that minor spoiler? Because I'm going to talk about it in the next episode. Because the episode ends up with that white-haired male character showing up saying, hey, what the heck's going on here and there, you know, etc. Who knows? But one thing, well, it's Tristan, if anything, knowing that it's said in the episode. Now, that's the ending of episode 17. Here comes episode 18. This is where things kind of gotten very hectic, wondering what the heck is going on. Kion ends up mocking Percival, but what he doesn't understand is that he kind of ticked off Percival. He grabbed his hand and mummified or damaged his arm like that of an old man or something like that. And Tristan ends up clashing against him, trying to kill him or just fight him, you know. But we had to, eventually they managed to snap Percival, that Anglahan, Donnie, and Nasians, who apparently finally managed to breathe again because of Kion's freaking attacks and spell whatsoever, due to Tristan telling them to take it off, you know, etc. We have to it that Donnie, Anglahad, and Nasians managed to calm down Percival, and he ends up calming down and was glad to see that they're okay. Jade ends up removing his darkness helmet covering thing that he covered Percival's head with in the last episode. Sorry for being off topic and being off detailed, you know, etc. But yeah, pretty much they managed to stop the scuffle, and Tristan ends up healing them. He tries to heal the injury or damage that was done to his subordinate Kion, but unfortunately wasn't able to do any healing ability on Kion's arm that Percival managed to damage. But Percival ends up having to heal it somehow because I guess that's his magic ability, you know. We have to it that Tristan ends up telling Kion to apologize for what he's done, you know. And we get to know there are two four Knights of the Apocalypse, which is Tristan and Lancelot, which apparently Percival's group and Tristan's group reunites with Lancelot. As for one of Tristan's subordinates whatsoever, which is the girl, I don't know if her name was said in there. I think it is said. So Isolde, the female group of Tristan's platoon whatsoever, we get to see that she runs off because she felt like her impurity was stolen or something like that away, which I go yeah, that's something that a little fan servicey that I will not have to get into because it's not really important. That's what caused it. That's what was the cause of it. But other than that, just the confusion was done out in the wrong way, and now that yeah, pretty much the misunderstanding is cleared up. Lancelot reunites with Tristan and Percival's group, and Lancelot tells Tristan about the bad news that the fourth knight that he brought with him has ran off or something, or run off or something like that. And they go, are you serious right now? Where are they? But knowing that they don't know what the person is, all they know is that that knight is clad in armor whatsoever and golden decorations, and that Tristan is forced to reveal the information that the fourth knight of of the apocalypse that he brought with him is actually a blood relative of Arthur himself, and I mean King Arthur himself. Now, it's kind of crazy wondering like what the heck just happened here and there, you know? But other than that, their new mission is to look for that fourth night of the apocalypse. And we have to it, there's a moment with Percival's group, which is he's very happy that they're okay, you know, etc., which I thought was pretty cool. Now, as for a certain vision given by Baltra, you know, a former king of the Leonis, now that belongs to Meliodas, we get to see that, Baltra tells Meliodas about the situation, about a vision he had, you know, etc. Something about, like, the four nights where you will like, come together, but there'll be some trouble ahead, you know, etc. Then there's a post-credit scene where Lancelot is trying to look for the fourth night of the apocalypse, and he is interrupted by a girl whatsoever, which apparently, like, says, hey, what's up, hello, you know. Lancelot tries to tell her to go rest up and don't catch a cold, otherwise you won't grow up properly. But this girl seems to know what Lancelot was going to say, you know, whatever the situation is. All I can really tell you is that the episode had a post-credit scene where it ends up with the girl saying to Lancelot that she decides to fall over, but Lancelot, like catches her, and she even announced to him that I am your lover, and kisses him, you know? Yeah, a little girl who apparently tells Lancelot, I am your lover, and ends up kissing him after Lancelot catches her, you know? And kind of strange and weird if you even think about it, but, you know, there's a lot to, like, get a little, like, confusion here and there, but other than that, whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyways, that's about it for episode 18, you know. So I know you guys must be very confused knowing that the recap or summary I did must be very pathetic, and pretty much my video is pretty long, so I apologize for that, but I'll give it in a simple, like, easy summary to say it. In episodes 15 to 16, you know, it involves a Dark Talisman group trying to fight Percival and the others, but they get defeated and killed, you know. And, of course, like, episodes, like, episodes 17 and 18 involves, like, looking around, like, the Kingdom of Leonis, you know, that Percival and his group are doing right now. Well, Percival ran off, ends up getting into a misunderstanding and trouble with, like, Tristan's group whatsoever, and everything's cleared up after what happened here and there, etc. And then they end up trying to look for the fourth night of the apocalypse, because that one just ran off into somewhere else in the kingdom, which we don't really know where. But yeah. Then the episode of episode 18 ends off with, like, a girl announcing to Lancelot that I am your lover, and kisses him, you know. So yeah, I know this video must be long, and I wouldn't be surprised if no one else would watch it, but I'm just doing it because, you know, the second season of Nanatsu no Taizai, the Four Nights of the Apocalypse, is showing up. Season 2 is coming up soon, so yeah. Anyways, looking forward to the next batch of episodes, which I hope to finish the rest of them, and then get ready for season 2, you know? Now, I should have done this back then, but, you know, there's not a single stinking dang company or licensure has yet to, like, do subtitles on it, and there is no one who to license the series, you know. So that's why I wasn't able to, or didn't want to, like, talk about it, because sometimes those subtitles don't really come out at all, or they come out much later. But because I read the freaking, like, series of the Four Nights of the Apocalypse, so I may have an idea what they're saying. But other than that, you know, yeah, that's about it. Sorry for being a little off topic. I'm out of breath, you know, and I'm very tired. I'm just rambling on like a fool. So until then, people, I'll see you guys in the next video. So I'm Alpha Zero. Have a good day. I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot-toot!